11 News starts with breaking news.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are hearing that there may be a verdict in the Wilkinsburg mass shooting case on day 4 of deliberations, and we are hearing the verdict is not guilty.
That information just coming across just in the last few minutes for Sharon Shelton, who faced the death penalty in this case for this shooting, the Wilkinsburg mass shooting, the backyard barbecue that happened in March of 2016, resulting in the death of 5 people and an unborn baby. Again, we are hearing not guilty just within the last few minutes. Our Aaron Martin is down in the courtroom right now. He tweeted at 11:23, so about 40 minutes ago, that they were calling everybody back to the courtroom, that they had some kind of an announcement, and now again we are hearing that they have reached a verdict and it is not guilty. Yeah, and this is day 4 now of deliberations, and the jury has asked no questions since, I believe, Wednesday it was. Anyway, we do have a crew inside the courtroom. Actually, our Aaron Martin just came out of the courtroom right now. Aaron, Blockbuster News.
Now, that verdict was just read within the last 10 minutes. Sharon Shelton found not guilty of all charges in the homicide over in Wilkinsburg back in March 2016 of that Wilkinsburg barbecue. Now, it was silent when that verdict was read. However, there was a lot of emotion that was happening in the immediate aftermath. Actually, in fact, just over here right now, we can hear people yelling about what happened. This is a lot of emotion that's been building up for a very long time. Keep in mind, it's been almost 4 years at this point. Sharon Shelton didn't appear to have much emotion when he heard that verdict, although we could see him wiping away tears shortly after. As I mentioned before, everyone stayed silent. However, in the moments as the jury was walking out of the courtroom, we did hear family crying and being very emotional throughout the entire thing, and of course, understandably so. What made this case very unique and very difficult in a lot of aspects was the fact that the prosecutors and investigators were never able to show that Sharon Shelton was on the scene. There was no DNA, no fingerprints, no witnesses, and they never recovered a gun. However, there was a lot of circumstantial evidence around this, both before and in the immediate aftermath, and that is partially what the prosecutors were hoping would be enough to convince the jury. This jury ended up deliberating over 4 days, 23 hours before reaching this verdict just after 11 o'clock this morning. Again, not guilty for Sharon Shelton. Keep in mind, the other suspect who was in this case, Robert Thomas, had his charges dismissed last week, literally just 45 minutes before the trial for Shelton began. Now, Shelton was walked out again in handcuffs. That is in part because he has some other matters, some other charges that need to be handled, but at this point, he is not guilty of killing those 5 people and an unborn child. Keep in mind, there was actually 3 other people that were shot in this case as well. They had testified in this case, so there's a lot of moving parts here, a lot of emotion in this courtroom. It was one of the most tense scenes that I remember being part of when we were sitting in that courtroom. So we're obviously going to be able to speak to attorneys now that this case has been resolved. The gag order is lifted. Hopefully we'll be speaking to family as well to get their reaction. Of course, we'll have much more for you tonight on Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock. For now, we're live in the Allegheny County Courthouse. Aaron Martin, Channel 11 News.
All right, thank you very much, Aaron. Channel 11 News staying inside that courtroom right now.
And we're going to break in with more reaction on this verdict during this newscast. You can get breaking updates, of course, at any time with our WPXI News app. And now a live look from Channel 11's Tower Cam. No snow now, but some flurries in the area this afternoon. The bigger story, though, is that Arctic blast of cold air. I guess it is February after all.
It sure is. We need a little reminder there. The wind chill in the single digits this morning. Let's get over to meteorologist Stephanie Allison in Severe Weather Center 11 with more on that. Stephanie?
Well, that cold air this morning certainly gave you a reminder. It's February 14th, and we're going to continue to see single-digit wind chills right now, and we're going to start to see those improve as we move into the afternoon hours. So that cold snap here with us as that cold air filtered in from the northwest last night and through the overnight hours, bringing a tricky commute with some icy conditions. Right now, this is a visible satellite, and I want to show you this because the sun is coming out even though it is cold. So here's a look outside of the PennDOT cams, just showing you some brighter skies now in the forecast, which is nice to see, but it certainly is cold out there, so you'll need all the layers this afternoon and into the evening. Look at Robinson cam, and also the sun shining on parts of the convention center. As you can see, it's brighter now, which is nice. 19 is the current temperatures, but with the wind out of the northwest at 17, it feels like 5. So we're going to stay with the single-digit wind chills right now, but those will improve as we move into the afternoon. A look at that forecast, your hour-by-hour wind chill forecast for your Valentine's Day is coming up next.
He was in a position of power, accused of making racist comments from the bench. So what is next for Judge Mark Tranquilli?
Due process has to take place, and so that would mean that there would be a notice as well as a hearing. I've represented judges in front of the Judicial Conduct Board out in Harrisburg, and so until that notice is received and there's actual, if in fact it gets that far, a hearing date, then only can we determine what actually will transpire.
Judge Tranquilli was temporarily assigned to administrative duties last week. The comments he's accused of making were aimed at an African-American juror. Experts also tell us this could mean appeals for many of his cases. A petition to have him disbarred now has more than 2,000 signatures.
A new office tower is going up in Oakland, but is shrinking by 2 floors. Channel 11's Mike Holden learned even with some compromises, not everyone is for this development. Mike?
Gordon, things are looking up quite literally like these buildings here in Pittsburgh's Oakland neighborhood. We've had the chance to talk with a lot of people, including that Baltimore-based real estate developer, and they're actually eyeing this property right here. It's the old CVS. After talking with multiple people, from students to people who live in this community, some say this is great. It's an amazing project. Others, though, are feeling a little concerned. It is no secret. Pittsburgh's highly populated Oakland neighborhood is experiencing a major boom when it comes to new businesses, housing, and industry. Channel 11 told you last year, Wexford Science and Technology is making moves in eyeing this former CVS building lot along Forbes Avenue. Their proposed office tower would include labs, office space, retail, and even a restaurant. Now they're preparing to shrink it down from the initial 13-story building to 10 stories after getting pushback from various officials. 2 of those floors will be used for parking. The new proposal would have the building standing at more than 150 feet tall. Some city leaders have expressed their disapproval, citing height to parking to overall congestion in the area. We spoke with folks who live here. Listen in.
I think it'll be a good thing. You know, Pittsburgh is expanding and growing every day.
While I think it's great that they want to put like more residential space for more people to come here, I think that the parking is a huge issue, so they definitely need to take that into consideration when they're building these buildings.
All right, and we have a statement right here this afternoon. The executive vice president of Wexford Science and Technology weighed in to clear the air. He says in part, quote, "We want to be a good neighbor. We want to be finding a building that the community is comfortable with to the best extent possible. We are working through the process right now." So what does he mean out here live working through the process? Well, he is saying they're trying to iron out the details, reach an agreement with all the city officials, and hopefully have something nailed down within the next 2 weeks. We're going to follow up with him, check in with other officials in the neighborhood. So look for the latest live updates for Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock tonight. Reporting live in Oakland, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
A man accused of attacking an officer and making threats against police is in custody. Police say Edward Smuck made several threatening phone calls to emergency dispatchers. Officers tracked his phone and found him inside a parking garage on Melwood Avenue in Oakland. When he got to jail, police say he hit an officer in the face. Smuck faces a long list of charges, including burglary and aggravated assault. Charges have been dismissed against a Ross Township police officer. Mark Sullivan was accused of illegally accessing internal computer files. Investigators said he accessed personal files that were only meant for the police chief and lieutenant. Sullivan was fired from the department. Charges were initially dropped and then refiled, but again, they have now been dismissed.
The whole part of my heart, my life, man, I can go on, just too much, and wow.
A mother sharing her heartache after her 3-year-old daughter was killed. Chantel Brooks was surrounded by family and friends as she opened up about the nightmare she's been living. 3-year-old Chastity Clancy was staying at a babysitter's when she died. Brooks said Marlon Pritchard is the babysitter's husband. Pritchard told police he slept with a gun under his pillow because he thought people were after him. Last weekend, he says the gun went off, hitting Chastity. Pritchard is now charged in her death.
It's just sad that people gain your trust and betray you. Just So I just feel really betrayed. So smart, full life. Oh, I know I hurt her.
Chastity's funeral will be held Monday.
A community center for senior citizens suddenly shut down in Morningside. City officials say it's due to safety concerns and it may not reopen for months. Channel 11's Liz Kilmer is on Jancy Street with the latest.
Dozens of older folks come here to the Morningside Community Center for everything from free lunch to bingo to exercise. But now when they come here, they see this sign saying it's closed until further notice. Now, it was just about a year ago that the Morningside Healthy Active Living Center opened in a new location, the building here on Jancy Street. It's one of 13 in Pittsburgh run by City Parks, providing a free way for people who are 60 and older to keep healthy, active, and social. Well, this week, Councilwoman Deb Gross notified residents on Facebook that a safety concern with the floors means it's closed until repairs are made, which will likely take months rather than weeks. A disappointment for seniors who rely on it.
Yeah, and you know, I guess I'm fortunate, I have a wife and kids, but if you don't have anyone, there's a lot of people that depend on that. And there's a lot of people that depend on that for their lunch. And, you know, a lot of people don't get up. They go there.
The sign on the door here says to call this number for more options. I did reach out to officials, and I'm going to have the very latest tonight at 5. In Morningside, I'm Liz Kilmer, Channel 11 News.
All right, and we continue to follow breaking news in the Wilkinsburg mass shooting trial. A jury just finding Sharon Shelton not guilty.
Yeah, we want to get back to Channel 11's Aaron Martin, who's been following this case every step of the way. Aaron, you just talked to one of the victim's relatives out there. What did they have to say?
Yeah, Gordon and Peggy, as you can imagine, incredibly emotional. We've been watching as the families of these victims have been going into the district attorney's office, and that has involved a lot of tears, a lot of emotion. And we heard from one woman, Jessica Powell, who is the mother of Brittany Powell, one of the women who was killed in that Wilkinsburg barbecue back in March 2016. She had very emotional moments, very emotional comments she said to our cameras just as she was walking by. Take a listen.
Come over here.
So now he got the chance.
Come over here.
Set both of them free. So now he got the chance to kill us all. So he needs to look at this face, because when I'm dead, McHenry's to blame of it.
Obviously, an awful lot of emotion going on there from this verdict. One of the things that we heard from prosecutors throughout this case was that Sharon Shelton had wanted revenge for an incident that had happened a little bit earlier, a couple of years, involving one of his friends, and that Lamont Powell was the target of that alleged shooting. Lamont Powell, of course, is a relative of Brittany Powell, one of the people who was killed. Lamont was shot and injured, but did not end up dying in this case. As I mentioned, in the courtroom itself, in the moments after that verdict was read, we heard from audible cries from family. They were sitting directly behind us. They were very emotional, very upset, but the judge had warned everybody to keep their emotions in check until the jury left the room. Once the jurors started leaving, that's when we started hearing those cries. As Sharon Shelton was walking out of the courtroom, we couldn't see his emotion as the verdict was read, but we could see him as he was walking out, wiping his eyes, wiping his nose with a tissue. So a lot of emotion that is continuing throughout here, as we've seen family walk by. We've seen attorneys. Actually, attorneys are speaking to one of our photographers right now, the attorneys for Sharon Shelton. So this is something that's going to continue developing, and we'll keep updating you as it does. Gordon and Peggy, back to you.
Aaron, this was a jury of 6 men, 6 women. They had 650 exhibits shown over 6 days of this trial. You've been in there for almost all of this. You know, what is your take on this? Because they hadn't had any questions since Wednesday, so we didn't really know where they were going with this case. And on Wednesday, I believe they had some questions about one of the detectives and his testimony and how much he had really witnessed. So what's your feeling about how the jury took all of this information and how they deliberated this?
Well, when you have a case like this, particularly when there's long jury deliberations, you only get like little morsels of information that tend to come out, and that's what we had here in those jury questions. On Wednesday, when we got that question about Detective Michael Adams with the Wilkinsburg Police Department asking about his testimony in regards to how long he allegedly saw Sharon Shelton in the minutes after that shooting, defense attorneys pointed out repeatedly that they thought that Detective Adams was lying about that point. So when you get a question like that, it tells you that the jury is looking at get that type of information, potentially something that could be interpreted as good news for the defense. Now, keep in mind, the jury deliberated for 23 hours in this case, so this was a very, very long deliberation. Generally, from speaking to different people, their interpretation was there must have been some holdouts of jurors. We may be headed toward a hung jury and a mistrial. But at some point today, from 9 a.m. when they started deliberating until 11 o'clock this morning, some minds clearly were changed, and that led us to this not guilty verdict that we heard just a little bit ago.
And Aaron, I know you mentioned this was an emotional response in the courtroom, but was it a surprised response in that this was all based on circumstantial evidence, as you have said before, and they haven't asked a question since Wednesday, the jurors?
You know, I think it all depends on how you look at things. As it's dragged on, as I mentioned, a lot of people were suspecting it could be more of a mistrial or something of that nature. But just given the facts that were presented in this case, this was a very difficult case for prosecutors to prove. As we mentioned, they had a lot of circumstantial evidence. They had phone records showing calls between Sharon Shelton and fellow suspect Robert Thomas in the hours leading up to that, and then there was a 10-minute gap when the shooting actually happened. You had that detective, Wilkinsburg detective Michael Adams, who claims that he saw Sharon Shelton 2 minutes after the shooting. However, he never talked to him. He stopped and looked at him, later identified him as Sharon Shelton. They never spoke. They never made eye contact. So you had a lot, and then you also had the jailhouse letters. You had an interview that Sharon Shelton did with his father while he was in the Allegheny County Jail. You had a lot of situations where it made it look like Sharon Shelton was doing things that a guilty man would do. But again, investigators couldn't put him on the scene. There was no DNA. There was no fingerprints. There was no gun recovered. And there were no witnesses that saw his face or the face of the other suspect, in this case, Robert Thomas. So when you can't put a suspect on the scene, that makes getting a guilty verdict much more difficult. And from observing this trial for the last 2 weeks, it seems like that may have been weighing on these jurors' minds.
And Aaron, you had interviewed earlier this week, Amanda, witness number 1 in this case. The jury really didn't hear any information about that, and that was a part of what your reporting was, that he claimed investigators had paid him off to give information in this case. How much of that ever got to the jury? How much of that even played a role in this?
So, Gordon, the simple answer is none of it, because anytime there were motions, hearings in regards to this witness number 1 and his involvement, who we later learned his name is Kendall Michael, that was all done when the jury was out of the room. The judge made sure the jury was separated from all that. So from their perspective, they didn't know about any of this. But the reality of this situation is the criminal complaint that was filed when these charges were initially brought forth back in June of 2016 very heavily relied on Kendall Michael's testimony as a jailhouse informant. In fact, I believe 3 pages of the 8 or 9 page criminal complaint contained just what Kendall was telling investigators in this case. There was another witness, witness number 3, that also allegedly confessed to killing Marcus White Jr. back in 2013. Well, he ended up not testifying. Prosecutors chose not to call him, and that ended up leading to why the charges against Robert Thomas were dismissed. But that was another witness that played a big part in this initial arrest warrant. So despite all this that's been circling this trial, all these different issues, the jury was told don't watch any news coverage, don't read anything about this case, and assuming that they stuck to that order by the judge, they didn't see any of this. So this all was determined based on the facts they heard throughout court and throughout the trial over the last 2 weeks.
We know you have a lot more work to do to continue to cover this. Thank you very much. He has really done a great job covering all aspects of this trial.
And we have several crews down at the courthouse right now working to get more reaction from the victim's family as well as Sharon Shelton's family. We're going to have more on that coming up throughout this newscast and, of course, tonight at 5 on Channel 11 News. Today marks 25 years since 3 firefighters died in a fire. Investigators say that fire in the East Hills was intentionally set. It was one of the darkest days for the city of Pittsburgh and its fire department. Captain Thomas Brooks and firefighters Mark Kalenda and Patricia Conroy lost their lives. Conroy remains the only female firefighter killed in the line of duty in the city's history. They rushed to the burning home on Bryceland Street and were separated from other crews when a stairwell inside the home collapsed and they became trapped. Gregory Brown Jr. was convicted in state court of burning down the home for insurance money. Greg Brown was convicted in state court, but that conviction was overturned in 2016 because a witness was offered money to testify and jurors were never told. Brown was later released from prison. He's now awaiting a trial in federal court, and today's the deadline for pretrial motions and arguments to be submitted. Well, on the heels of that story, new video just out shows a roof collapse on a firefighter in Dallas.
And it's really intense video. Somehow he walked away with just minor injuries. Check this out. This video shot around midnight.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see the firefighter standing near the burning building. Part of the roof just falls on him. He crawled his way away from danger, and fellow firefighters rushed to see if he was okay.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Allison. Some light snow showers have been impacting the area, mainly from lake effect. It's very light in nature. Some flurries left over out there. We started with that this morning. It's become lighter throughout the daytime, and we're going to continue to see very light snow showers come off the lakes throughout the afternoon. So don't be surprised if you see a flurry or two or a light snow shower. Really not impacting our forecast a whole lot this afternoon. But I want to show you a few light snow showers moving through Beaver County right now. But also what we have out there is sunshine. Sunshine is peeking through the clouds, so making for a brighter afternoon as promised earlier today. Wind chills right now 5. That's what it feels like with that northwesterly wind at 17. So those very breezy conditions keeping wind chills in the single digits for many right now. But the good news is the wind speeds, they go down from here into the afternoon hours. So we'll start to see wind chills improve as we move into the afternoons. But we're going to look at wind speeds sustained at 14 at 2 o'clock. Right now, though, sustained wind at 17 in Pittsburgh, 12. That means a constant wind out of the northwest, and that's what's providing those snow showers to drop down across us here today. Very light, as I mentioned, so not an issue, but that cold is an issue for us this afternoon. Look at these wind gusts, 23 in Greensburg right now, 18 in Washington. As I mentioned, they improve, so watch what happens with wind chills. It feels like 4 right now in Pittsburgh, 12 in Butler, 15 in Beaver, 10 in Washington. So as you step outside, that cold air really hits you. 22 is your afternoon high, so a few snow showers, as I mentioned, very light. Clouds mixed with sun, making for a bright afternoon. You need the sunglasses today, and you're going to need them tomorrow as well, but temperatures will start to improve into the weekend as well, into tomorrow afternoon. So wind chill forecast looks like this. If you're stepping out at 4 o'clock, 15, maybe you're headed to dinner tonight, it's going to be around 13 degrees. But if you're headed to a movie, headed home a little bit later in the evening, look at this, 10 o'clock, it will feel like 19. So things will improve as we move into the afternoon hours as the winds continue to die down. So that's great news. 7 o'clock, the actual air temperature will be 20, but certainly blustery through the evening and overnight hours. Look at the wind chill later on. So we will tumble because we have clear skies for us overnight. Winds will die down, and we'll get to 11 tonight. So a very cold start for early Saturday morning. We'll step outside tomorrow morning at 10 in Butler, 10 in Washington. So cold on Saturday, but as we move into Saturday afternoon, that temperature improves. Look at that, 37. So not as cold, certainly cold, but not as cold as today. 41 Sunday, a few isolated rain showers and snow showers around. A better look at your weekend forecast and what you can expect coming up in the next half hour.
Travel insurance can cost you hundreds of dollars. 11 investigates when it's best to spend a little extra money on your vacation.
And we'll come right up to the front desk and say, I'm here to see the kids.
First town new Hall of Famer Troy Polamalu left his mark on kids at Children's Hospital.
Snow falls, we use the area's most powerful tools to keep you prepared.
The most extensive school closings, always scrolling.
I'm tracking snow where you live.
And our traffic trackers show you live conditions. I'm bringing you urgent updates from the breaking news desk.
Count on 11 Alert on Channel 11 Morning News.
Whether the weather is good or whether the weather is bad, count on Armstrong support and service all throughout the year.
Judge Judy.
Come right up to the front desk and say, I'm here to see the kids.
Since Troy Polamalu was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, a lot of people have been sharing stories about the amazing person he is. And we learned he made secret visits to Children's Hospital for years.
He met with children fighting cancer on the 9th floor of the hospital, helping cheer them up during a very stressful time. And a portrait of Troy is actually hanging up on the 9th floor.
When it was early on in his career and his kids were little or he didn't have kids, he would come in and spend hours. It was unbelievable. You could tell that he just wanted to do things for the families and for the patients.
And we're told Troy wanted to sign the portrait on the 9th floor, but would get so busy running from room to room and child to child, he never got a chance to. Good guy.
A very good guy. Well, a woman admits she was drunk when she got an Uber on the North Shore and passed out at home.
Then the disturbing text she got the next day that had that Uber driver facing charges.
Arctic air has moved into our forecast for today. Wind chills right now in the single digits for many. How low will those temperatures go tonight? A look at that detailed forecast is coming up next.
And we're staying on top of that major breaking news. Sharon Shelton found not guilty in the Wilkinsburg shooting massacre. What the defense attorney is saying coming up next.
Every weekday.
Watch the Wendy Williams Show, weekdays at 11. You're watching WPXI Now, your source for original local shows. All the best things happening in Pittsburgh in one place. Watch 11 Things to Do, Thursday and Friday mornings at 9:15 on WPXI Now and on demand.
Be prepared during severe weather.
Count on Channel 11 Morning News.
Channel 11 staying on top of major breaking news. The man accused in the Wilkinsburg mass shooting trial was just found not guilty.
And Channel 11's Aaron Martin is live once again. And Aaron, you just talked to the attorney for Sharon Shelton. What did he have to say?
Well, Gordon and Peggy, he's obviously relieved, saying at one point he actually thought this would end up being a hung jury because the jury was deliberating for so long. But one thing you need to remember throughout this entire case is the defense attorneys didn't have a long case themselves. It only lasted about 5 minutes. But what they were doing is constantly reminding the jury about the fact that there wasn't direct evidence in this case, placing Sharon Shelton on the scene. But also a lot of their case was built on one man, Wilkinsburg Police Detective Michael Adams, the man who allegedly saw Sharon Shelton just minutes after that shooting happened. We asked Randall McKinney, who was the defense attorney in this case, one of the defense attorneys, about that strategy. Here's what he had to say.
I do think that they did not find Detective Adams' testimony credible, and that's what I really focused on in my closing argument. It seemed to me that Mr. Shelton was a suspect early on without much evidence to corroborate that. And they narrowed in and focused in on him without following any other leads. And I think they did that to their detriment.
And just quickly, in regards to what he was referring to with Detective Adams, at one point the jury asked a question on Wednesday asking to hear again some of the testimony and the cross-examination that happened between Detective Adams and defense attorney Randall McKinney. That was something that I believe was probably telling for the defense attorneys, as they believe that was a good sign that the jury was taking a closer look at that detective's credibility. And now, of course, we don't know exactly what the jury was thinking, so a lot of this is speculation. But what we do know is they deliberated for 23 hours before reaching that decision just within the last hour. Gordon, Peggy.
And Aaron, you told us earlier that Sharon Shelton, although found not guilty, was still leaving the courtroom in handcuffs because he has some other issues. What happens to him now?
Well, at the moment, he is going to be back in the Allegheny County Jail. He does have some other allegations of some drug charges related to his time in the Allegheny County Jail. Keep in mind, he's been there for the last 4 years at this point. But I spoke to his attorney about it. I was told that they are going to hopefully get a bond hearing to try to get him out of jail here in the near future. Their hope is that he can go home. He has 2 young children. He has a girlfriend that he stayed with. So the hope is that he will be back with his family at some point in the near future. But for the moment, he will be heading back to the Allegheny County Jail. That was one of the things that Judge Edward Burkowski said right after that verdict was read. So we'll see what ends up happening with Sharon Shelton. As I said, he has a couple other issues that are outstanding, but at least for the by far most serious charges he was facing, those 5 counts, actually 6 counts of homicide when you include the unborn child that was killed as well. He's breathing a sigh of relief. We saw a lot of emotion on his face as he was leaving the courtroom today, and his attorneys confirmed that this was the outcome that they were not only looking for, but they were very relieved to hear.
Thank you for your very thorough reporting on this.
And of course, Channel 11 staying inside the courtroom.
We're going to break in with any more reaction on this shocking verdict during this newscast, and you can get breaking updates anytime with our WPXI News app. Now, bitter cold temperatures today and a chance for flurries and light showers today as well.
Nothing like what we saw on Valentine's Day back in 2015, by the way, when snow squalls brought whiteout conditions as people were heading out for dinner. Meteorologist Stephanie Allison takes a look back in Severe Weather Center 11. Yeah. I do remember that.
We were both.
Yeah.
You said as well you were headed out with your wife and you were in the storm, and I was as well, and it was dropped the visibility to whiteout conditions, really. Very gusty winds as well, up to 50 miles per hour with that storm. So today marks this 5-year anniversary of that snow squall event that happened on February 14th. It dropped across us in the afternoon and continued into the early evening hours. So certainly not those conditions outside today, but we certainly did have some lake effect snow showers coming on in, very light in nature. And what happens here is when that cold Arctic air mass comes in play, so that dropped across the lake, so we have that cold air now in place, and then you have the lakes that are not really frozen, so a little bit warmer there, and you have these winds right now, sustained winds at 17 miles per hour, gusting up a little bit higher at times, so that brings those snow showers in. Once the winds really dial back, those snow showers shut off, but we've had very light conditions across us today, not an issue. Mainly the concern today is that cold air and the winds making for a very cold afternoon. So with the wind speeds in play, gives us those single-digit wind chills. So right now, winds sustained at 14. There you go, current winds at 17 downtown, but 14 at 1 o'clock, and then they go down from there, so that's good news. Sun shines out at times, so that's also nice to see the sun. And what we will continue to see is those gusty conditions for the next hour or two, and then those winds dial back into the evening. So once we have these clear skies overnight, we're actually going to fall to 11 degrees tonight. So it's cold right now. It feels like 4, it feels like 12 in Butler, it feels like 15 in Beaver. We're going to continue to see this cold air in here. I'll let you know when we warm up and what your weekend looks like coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Brett Kiesel shaving his head. After the Steelers wrap up the season, it has become a Pittsburgh tradition.
He continued it even after retirement. What made this year's sheared beard event so special?
But first, a sad sign of the times, the new push to put breathalyzers on school buses.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death for women in the U.S.
But eating a healthier diet can reduce your risk. AHN is teaming up with Giant Eagle and the American Heart Association to help you get started.
Join us for Love Your Heart events at select Giant Eagle locations in February.
Talk with experts, check out healthy recipes, and sample heart-friendly foods.
Visit ahn.org/loveyourheart to find an event near you.
All of Her Life Community Health Series, brought to you by AHN Women and WP.
From where you live.
Watch Channel 11 News at 5.
Breathalyzers on school buses. That's what 2 national safety groups are pushing for tonight. Advocates say they're needed to make sure the people responsible for getting your child to school safely are not driving drunk. The Pew Charitable Trust State Line report found at least 118 drivers from 38 states, including Pennsylvania, who were caught by police driving impaired. Some were arrested while others were cited and taken off their route. The National Safety Council says ignition interlocks on buses should be more common.
With this precious cargo on board, you just cannot take any chances. Everything that can be done to safeguard our children should be done.
Just last month, we told you about a Laurel Highland school bus driver who was fired for driving drunk. Donald Miller was arrested during a sobriety check around 8:30 in the morning, which is after some kids had already been dropped off at school.
Brett Kiesel continued the tradition. He sheared his famous beard for the last time, all in support of cancer programs at Children's Hospital. Kiesel hosted the 10th and final Sheared da Beard at Jurgles Rhythm Grill last night. Celebrity guests, as well as current and former Steelers, took part in the shaving ceremony, and 4-year-old cancer patient Nora Meisenick even helped out on stage. Look how cute she is. Kiesel started visiting her in the hospital when she was only 6 months old.
This beard and the tough persona you have with being a football player and all those things are all a part of it, but tonight, and the reason we do Sheared a Beard is for kids like her who are born with something that is out of their control in the fight that they have to go through.
She's a cutie.
Yeah.
The event has raised over $730,000 over the last decade.
Some great work, some really impressive stuff there. Good job on him. Well, we're following major breaking news. Sharon Shelton found not guilty in the Wilkinsburg mass shooting.
And we're hearing about Shelton's reaction when the verdict was read. That's next.
Channel 11 Morning News brings you weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
Let me get you prepared for the week.
Now we've expanded our weather to help you prepare for the day ahead.
Definitely the heavy rain gear today.
Watch Channel 11 Morning News. We're on from 4:30 to... WPXI Now. Channel 11 expands its streaming live newscasts. When other stations are national, Channel 11 News is local, right here at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. on WPXI Now. Pittsburgh's chief meteorologist, Stephen Cropper, tracking the weather in your neighborhood.
All right, Channel 11 continuing to stay on top of our major breaking news this afternoon. The man accused in the Wilkinsburg mass shooting trial was found not guilty.
And Channel 11's Aaron Martin live again from downtown. Aaron, you found out more about Sharon Shelton's reaction when that verdict was read.
Yeah, a lot of emotion, as you can imagine. He was not only looking at these charges, very, very serious, but he was facing the death penalty if he was convicted. So obviously a lot of relief from what we heard. Just to give you an update on what we're doing right now, we're on the third floor of the Allegheny County Courthouse just outside of the district attorney's office. We're waiting to find out if they will be speaking at all in regards to this case, a very, very high-profile case that ends with a not guilty verdict for suspect Sharon Shelton. We spoke to one of his attorneys, Wendy Williams, just in the last few minutes, and she described what those moments were like when that not guilty verdict was read.
He looked back at his mother and his family, who were also crying, and he just said, "I'm going to see my boys. I'm going to see my boys." He just said it over and over, and he was sobbing.
Now, from what we've heard throughout this trial, Sharon Shelton was actually in jail before this and had just gotten out the day before this alleged incident ended up happening. We were told earlier in the day he was actually hanging out with his family as well. Now, as I mentioned before, we are waiting to see if the district attorney's office will be speaking in regards to this case, but a very difficult situation, as we've said a few times before. You know, they were trying a case where there wasn't any sort of direct evidence, fingerprints, DNA, witnesses, none of that. They were focusing solely on circumstantial circumstantial evidence both before and after this shooting, and hoping that would be enough to convince the jury. They deliberated for 23 hours, but from what we could tell, it wasn't enough, as they found Sharon Shelton not guilty. We're going to have much more from not only very emotional reactions from the family as they were leaving the courtroom, but also from Sharon Shelton's attorneys on what this last 4 years has been like leading to this point. We'll have all of that for you tonight on Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock. We're live in the Allegheny County Courthouse. Aaron Martin, Channel 11 News.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. And, of course, he and the rest of our crews continue to stay down there, working to gather more reaction down to the courthouse.
And you can look for all of today's developments tonight at 5 on Channel 11 News. And, of course, you can get breaking updates anytime with our Channel 11 News app.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Well, a blustery cold Valentine's Day that continues into the afternoon hours. Light snow showers across the area of flurries. Mainly that is wrapping up as those winds will die down through the afternoon hours. Right now, it's 19 degrees. It's 15 degrees colder right now than it was yesterday at this time. So certainly cold. This cold snap is sticking around for us into tonight. So 24 in Butler right now, 19 in Pittsburgh, 22 in Washington. Taking a look at the tower cam. Just in the last 15 minutes, I noticed the tower cam, it is moving a lot, so those winds are picking up currently through your lunchtime hours into 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then they'll start to decrease. So northwesterly wind at 17 right now, and the wind speeds, as you can see, this is a constant wind, 13 in Butler, 12 in Washington, 17 in Pittsburgh, 15 in Greensburg. We have higher gusts at times throughout your lunchtime hour right now. So wind chills, look at this. With the wind factoring in, it feels like 4 in Pittsburgh, 10 in Washington, 12 in Butler. So we're going to continue to see that through 1, 2 o'clock, and then you're going to notice that it's going to improve a little bit, but certainly a very cold day and well below average. We're coming in at 22 for your high in Pittsburgh, and a few snow showers you may see out there, or flurries. Overall, not a concern for us, but what the concern is the breeze that's giving us these cold feel-like temperatures. So it feels like 13 at 4 o'clock this afternoon. If you're heading out to dinner for Valentine's, it's going to feel like 12 degrees, even though it's going to be right around 20. So we have clouds and sunshine mixed in the forecast this afternoon. So a brighter sky out there, and then those clouds clear out for us overnight, which will allow temperatures to take a tumble overnight and into the start of tomorrow morning. So if you are going to be out tonight at 10 o'clock, it will feel like 18 through the overnight hours. Look at this. We'll feel like 16 at 4 a.m. and then 11 by 6 a.m. because that is our low for us overnight with very light winds. So clear skies, light winds will allow temperatures to tumble to start your Saturday morning. So tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up and walk out the door at 10 in Butler, 10 degrees in Washington, and 12 in Beaver. Wind's not a factor in the forecast tomorrow. Cold start Saturday. In the afternoon, we get to 37, a mix of sun and clouds. Certainly not as cold as today, but near average. 41 Sunday. We'll have cloudy skies around, a chance to see an isolated rain shower or snow shower possible very early in the day. Something we'll keep an eye on. You can keep checking back in on that. But overall, a pretty quiet weekend. 44 Monday, mix of sun and clouds there. 51 with rain on Tuesday, and a sharp turn in temperatures overnight Tuesday and into Wednesday, where we could see some rain mixed with snow. Check in for the latest on your evening forecast with Chief Meteorologist Stephen Cropper tonight at 5.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
We'll be right back.
In a small town, secrets are hard to keep. Ronnie Long died nearly a decade ago, feet from his mother's front door.
Are you amazed that there's not been an arrest in this case, then?
Oh, yes.
The mysterious letter Ronnie's mother received that seems to explain everything, and why police say they can't charge anyone for what happened that night.
If there's no justice on this earth, there will definitely be justice in heaven. There definitely will be.
11 investigates the evil at their doorstep. Now on your screen all the time on Channel 11 News.
And the Channel 11 newsroom continues to follow major breaking news. The man accused in the Wilkinsburg mass shooting trial was found not guilty.
And Channel 11's Aaron Martin gathering all the details for us down there and joins us one more time with some brand new details. Aaron?
Well, Gordon and Peggy, right now we are waiting outside of the district attorney's office here in the Allegheny County Courthouse to find out if they will be responding to this not guilty verdict. Keep in mind, they have been working on this case for close to 4 years at this point. Sharon Shelton and Robert Thomas were charged all the way back in June 2016, leading to this trial of Sharon Shelton and the not guilty verdict that came in just a little more than an hour ago. Now, as for that not guilty verdict, it was dead silent in the courtroom in the moments before then. Incredibly tense situation. The judge had warned everyone not to have an emotional reaction when the jury read that verdict. It stayed silent when the jury foreman said not guilty. From there, as the jury was leaving, we started to hear those cries from family, the emotion. There was so much emotion in that courtroom, not just from the victims' families, but also from Sharon Shelton as well. So obviously a very, very tough situation that's going on. We are continuing to follow this. We are waiting, as I mentioned, to see if the district attorney's office will be talking to us. There's also, I do want to quickly play a soundbite from you from the defense attorney Randall McKinney for Sharon Shelton about what this trial was like moving forward. Take a listen.
He immediately shed tears. He has 2 young children who he's been kept away from for approximately 4 years.
And that was speaking about Sharon Shelton in the moments when that verdict was read, as you can imagine, incredibly emotional, as we saw. In fact, as he was leaving the courtroom, I saw him grab a tissue, wipe away tears as well. So he's obviously happy by this verdict. A lot of upset people, though, based on what happened, given the victims' families. They're not getting the justice they were hoping to get in this case. Now, coming up on Channel 11 News at 5 o'clock, we're going to have much, much more, including reaction from some of the family members as they were walking out of the courtroom, emotional as you can imagine. Defense attorneys, they were obviously very happy to see this as well. And what are the next steps? Sharon Shelton won't be heading home just yet. We'll have that for you tonight, starting at 5 o'clock. For now, we're live in the Allegheny County Courthouse. Aaron Martin, Channel 11 News.
All right, Aaron, we'll see you tonight at 5.
Well, a lot of time and money are being spent to secure the Decision 2020 vote, and now a new study may have found a vulnerability. MIT researchers found serious security concerns in a voting app used in West Virginia, Oregon, and Utah. They say hackers can control the VOADS app to alter, stop, or expose how an individual has voted. The company says that's a lie, and they're accusing the researchers of acting in bad faith, saying they looked at an old version of the app. The mobile voting industry had hoped 2020 would be a banner year, but it's off to a rocky start after that fiasco in Iowa, where an app failed to properly transmit votes in the Iowa caucuses. It took 2 days to announce completed results. Pennsylvania has done its part to prepare for 2020. Governor Tom Wolf ordered all of the counties to have voting machines, which include a paper trail. Most counties spent millions of dollars to replace their machines.
And again, we continue to follow a major breaking news story, the not guilty verdict in the Wilkinsburg mass shooting trial.
We're going to bring you any news conferences this afternoon, either on Channel 11 or on our WPXI streaming apps. And come back here for Channel 11 News at 5 for every update on this major story. Thanks for joining us.
Have a night.